Hi, everybody. It's Cassie. How are you doing? I came on here today to tell everybody. I'm specifically talking to wedding vendors today. I know a lot of people are hiring nowadays day of coordinators and month of coordinators. And a lot of even wedding vendors don't even know what all entails for a day of coordinator or a month of coordinator. And then they call some day of coordinators, a lot of people, and month of coordinators wedding planners, which they are in a sense. So I'm here to just sort out some details for everybody so you know what to expect from, especially for wedding vendors who I'm going to direct all this to, wedding vendors when they get a client, they say, yes, I've hired a day of coordinator or a month of coordinator, and then what to expect from that coordinator or what you should expect from that coordinator. So, when the difference between a month of coordinator and a day of coordinator is the month of coordinator actually starts 30 days before the wedding. So they will gather, they usually have a form like us. We have like a 7-page form that we have all of our month of coordinator coordinating clients and our day of coordinating clients to fill out and return to us, and we ask them to have it to us at least 6 weeks before their wedding with all the details filled out. So it's like 7 pages of details about their wedding, because we want to know if we're going to coordinate it and direct it and make sure everything runs smoothly. We need to know all the details about what you want to happen, who's going to do what, da 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 da. And so we make you, well, not make, but ask nicely to fill out our form, which we send to every one of our clients by email. And we ask them to fill out all the details that they can possibly can and give us the contact information. And then once they send that back to us, then we contact you, the wedding vendor, and ask you, well, we have the timeline. So we send you our sample of the timeline, and then we ask you if there's anything wrong with the timeline or if it doesn't fit with your timeline, please comment on our automated timeline sheet and put in your information so we can all be on the same page, and then I can change the form. And then I usually give a deadline of 1 week before the wedding for any final changes, and then that's the final timeline for the entire wedding. So that's what a month of coordinator does. Also, a month of coordinator cleans up any missing things that they forgot to do, or tell them how to do some certain things that they didn't quite get done right or not done on time. Or if there's a few wedding vendors they need to hire, we give them our referrals for that. If there's some things they need to finish creating or making, we help them to get all that done. If there's anything we need to rush order, we help them to get that done. So a month of coordinator is kind of like a mini planner for a month. So we kind of clean up all of the messy details and make sure they're nice and on point. We dot every I, we cross every T. We make sure that our client has everything in order and that all of the wedding vendors are in order, because, not everybody hires the top tier professionals, and which is fine. So we talk to all the different professionals or people that they've hired for their wedding and make sure that they have all of their things in order. And if they have any questions or if they need some little tips on what they need to do to perform their job well, we also send them some nice information by email with that also to help them out with that. So that's what a month of coordinator does. A month of coordinator is there to coordinate and to clean up any of all the loose ends that the couple has not done 30 days before their wedding. Now they usually hire us or hire a month of coordinator months and months in advance. And we're a nice company, so if they call us, we do answer them and give them some answers, but we do kindly tell them that you did not hire us for planning, you hired us for a month of coordinating, and our services start 30 days before the wedding. However, if your wedding vendors contact us and they have questions, we are happy to talk with them about the details of the wedding that we know of. But remember, we do not have your facts until 30 days or 6 weeks before your wedding, until you send us the form that has all of your details in it. So, there's a drastic difference between a wedding planner and a coordinator, because a wedding planner is with you the entire time and can answer all your questions and give you referrals and tips. And they, when you text them at 10 o'clock at night, if they don't text you back that night because it's late, they'll text you back that morning with the answer. They'll call you. They will facilitate all your needs throughout your planning process. But a month of planner only begins 30 days before your wedding, because that's when they start. And a lot of vendors, they contact me, some of them who are really on top of it, and they do things really early. They want things like 2 months in advance, and which is fine, but we don't have that information because we were only hired for 30 days of this process. So, when people call and be like, oh, that planner wasn't on it, or that coordinator didn't have it all together, or they didn't have it organized early enough. Well, just like your service, if you're a photographer, a videographer, a decorator, photo, whatever it is that you do, you're not going to work past your contractual obligations. And so if they want us to do more early on, then they need to pay for that particular services. But if they only hired a month of coordinator, you can only expect to be able to get timelines and stuff like that, like 3 weeks before the wedding, sometimes 2, maybe even 1 if they only have a day of coordinator. So you need to make sure you ask the pertinent details when you're client, and when you ask your client, do you have a planner? And you need to really make that clear, because sometimes I know I have a lot of clients who hire us for only a month of coordinating, and they call me their wedding planner, and I'm really not their wedding planner. I'm their coordinator, because they only hired me on as their coordinator. So it kind of makes it confusing to the vendors, because they think that they have a full wedding planner when they only have a coordinator for a certain amount of time. So when you're talking to your clients and asking them, do they have a coordinator? Do they have a wedding planner? Ask some details. So did you hire them to help you with your entire wedding, or did you just hire them to come on at the end and help you out for coordinating, for day of coordinating, and for month of coordinating? So those are the questions you need to ask your clients, and make sure that they did not just only have that person for a coordinator, and that they are not their planner. So, just add some details, just a few little details. It's not, nothing much. And then a day of coordinator, now this is kind of tricky, because it all depends on what company the person hires. I personally know some day of coordinators who really just show up the day of and micromanage weddings, which I find that to be reckless, because that's a little too much stress for me. I need to know more information than that. So they have people fill out a form, and then they just show up for the rehearsal and the day of. Some just show up the day of and micromanage that, which is wild to me. So, but with our day of services, we do have them still fill out that form, that 7-page form of ours, and then we contact the vendors early on and get all of that situated, and then we send out our timeline 2 weeks before, instead of 3 weeks or 4 weeks before. So that's what we do, and because we like to get all the details and make sure we're able to coordinate your day of coordination well. And with the day of coordinating, we do not really micromanage or refer or do any of that extra stuff that month of coordinating comes with. I mean, if there is some details that we can fix in that short amount of time, we can, but really your services are only on contractual for the rehearsal and your wedding day. And depending on which day of coordinating package you pick, your day of and your rehearsal is only for that certain amount of hours you contracted us for. So you really, when you're talking to your clients, make sure you ask some details. What did you hire them for? Because when we talk to all the wedding vendors that our clients book, we make sure that we know how many hours they booked their photographer for, because that really dictates on the timeline, because we don't want the photographer leaving before they throw the bouquet or cut the cake. So we want to make sure all the things are covered before the photographer leaves, or make sure we know how long the caterer is going to be there, or we want to make sure how long the photo booth is going to be there. We want to make sure, when the flowers are going to arrive. Are they going to pick up those centerpiece holders at the end of the night, or do I need to collect them, or somebody needs to hold on to them and turn them back into them? So those are all the little details that we have to find out. So when you're asking your client about the coordinator, find out, did they only have them for a month? Do they only have them for the day? Do they only have them for a few hours? What are they contracted for? So you as a wedding vendor don't get upset because the person that's supposed to be coordinating the wedding is not getting back to you in the time that you think they should, because that's not what they were contracted to do, but they'll get with you within their contractual terms. And that's different with every coordinator. And every coordinator I know does not mind if vendors call them separately outside of that particular client. We love hearing from the vendors. We love getting the calls. We love getting the emails. We love communication. Communication is the key to make sure everything runs smooth. And that's what we really want. We want it to be smooth and fun for them and exciting and nice. And, if everybody knows the plan, then the plan goes off great. But if there's missing pieces, then there's holes that things can fall through, and we don't like holes. So we like to make sure we have all of the gaps filled and everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing in a timely manner. So, so a month of coordinator is there for 30 days, and then a day of coordinator could be there, the week before, or just for the rehearsal and the wedding day. But they send out a timeline usually a week before the wedding. The day of coordinator does. Now, a month of coordinator can send it up to a month in advance if they have the information. But at the latest, 2 weeks before the wedding, with the month of coordinator, send out the information. Depending on how fast the client gives us the information, or gives that particular coordinator the information. And then the day of gives you like a week, and and sorts everything out. And then there's some who are a little haphazard and they just show up on the day of, which that's not what we do. So ask the questions, find out, call the planner or the coordinator that they've hired. We are more than happy to talk with you, about these things, and email back and forth, and, make sure that your timeline lines up with our timeline, and our timeline lines up with your timeline, and we are all on the same page getting it done, because we want it to be nice and joyous and fun, but yet organized, and all the details are covered. So that is what the difference between a day of coordinator and a month of coordinator. So if you need a little bit more help, I think really it's very, very, very safe for a bride, especially not just a bride, an engaged couple, because there's more than brides getting married. So an engaged couple, if there's, it's very safe for an engaged couple. I really think all engaged couples should hire the month of coordinating, because especially if you plan the whole wedding yourself, it's just insurance. It's like car insurance, health insurance. That, okay, if I have this coordinator for a month, at the end, all of the things that I may have missed or forgotten or skipped over or didn't really think was important or waited to the last minute to do, I'm getting it done, and she's making sure I got it done. So on the wedding, it is flawless. Well, as flawless as possible. But with the month of coordinator, some holes can come. But if you hire a good coordinator, they're able to, plaster over the holes and make them smooth, and, so nobody could notice them or fix them really fast. All right. Well, that's all I had for you guys today, to clear up some things about the month of coordinator and the day of coordinator. And if you have any questions, or if you're looking for one, give me a call. All right. Bye, guys.